Welcome to the Conscious Radio Network's YouTube channel. Become enlightened, have fun, and tell all your friends and family to share with everyone they know. You can find us on Facebook and stay up to date on our Facebook group, or find us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Our podcasts can be found on Libsyn, iHeart, Spotify, Google Podcast, and more. Most of all, remember to go to our official website at consciousradionetwork.com for podcasts, hosts, future shows, and scheduling. We also want to welcome our international audience. Don't stop now. Enjoy the community. Subscribe today.
This is the Conscious Radio Network.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you might be on this spaceship we call Earth. Welcome to Conscious Radio Network's weekly podcast series, The Seance. I'm your host, Reverend Dr. Paul Mekas. If this is your first time, please click subscribe, like, follow, comment, and share. Also, follow us wherever you listen to your podcast. Joining us today, astrologer and psychic for over 30 years. During her career, she's written for newspapers, magazines, and syndicated columns, including was her own radio show, TV spots, and keynote speaker. Her goal is to bring astrology down to earth, helping many, many people. Let's welcome to the show for the first time, Carol Starr. How are you doing?
I am doing fine, and how are you doing?
I am doing well, and we are having some technical difficulties, but thank God I've got some contingencies. So.
Yes, I love it. We just never quit, do we, Paul? Never.
No, we do not.
Yes.
So, Carol, how did this start for you? Did this start at a very young age, or did it kind of progress as you?
Oh, yeah, 3 years old. No. My kids were in school, and I decided I wanted to do something special, so I thought I'd become a paralegal. Mm. So my first husband said to me, well, he said, you're going to make it through one class. And I proved him wrong. I made it through half of the class and left. Yes, it was not my thing. So someone asked me, he said, have you ever had a chart done? I said, what is a chart? Astrology chart. He said, no. So I thought I better get one done because that was the thing to do. And it changed my life. And that's why I'm here today, because I got my chart done. Wow. And on a fluke. And I have been, other than a lot of businesses and other things I've done, always an astrologer and always a psychic, and working hard at really trying to help people find their way through astrology. Yeah. Plus my own empathic ability too.
Yeah. And astrology, it seems like astrology seems to be misunderstood a lot, especially nowadays. It seems to be growing. What are your feelings with is it taboo?
It's very popular, and the people who order charts today are a little younger than they used to be, and I'm amazed at the teenagers. Okay, they all know their sun, moon, rising planets, and they are excited about that. But however, they don't know how to interpret.
Yeah,
and I am very against, and I shouldn't say this probably, but I am against going online and getting a computerized reading. It doesn't. You're either going to be elated or depressed. There's no personality in it. All it is a bunch of facts. And lots of times the kids and people who get their charts on think they know all this stuff. They say, oh my God, guess what's happening? Mercury is retrograde. Should I go have my operation? And I said, yeah, of course you can. That isn't going to determine whether you're going to be safe through your operation or not. But if you go online, they say, do not have surgery when Mercury is retrograde because the doctor is going to make a mistake. Now, isn't that, scaring people like that. So there's a lot of education in that respect. But usually people who reach out to me to have their charts read are pretty savvy, but also know they don't understand how to read a chart. And they're always appreciative of what I can share with them. And I always ask them, I'm not reading your chart, I'm reading you. Let me know what you want to know. Is it your relationships, your work? I said, that makes it so much easier for me to do a video or FaceTime or whatever we decide.
Yeah, yeah. And this is, astrology is, how far back does astrology go?
Probably 2,000-3,000 years. I call it the human side of astronomy. And so people feel that it's like contrived. And we're really just following the stars and the planets and the placements. Placements is another thing besides. There are placements on the zodiac that are important when doing a chart. And I just think people are really suffering today, Paul. I think that the world is in kind of a chaotic state. I'm not going to talk political. I promise you that. I will not. But I feel that they're worried. And the kids today, I don't want to say they're lazy, but they're not directed.
Yeah.
A lot of them they don't want to even own a house or a car. They take Uber and they live at home, and mom and dad help them and feed them. And, and there's still plenty of ambitious young people out there. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But there's a lethargy out there. It's a sense of doom, a sense of what's going to happen. Where's everything is so expensive. Everything is so difficult. College is prohibitive. Everything is expensive today. And that the salaries are not going up as fast as the inflation is.
Mm-hmm.
So the kids are lazy. What the heck? Nothing's going to work out.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a whole different attitude, and what frightens me is when I hear about these kids being destructive, where I don't ever remember, I used to always say we're afraid for our kids. Today we're kind of afraid of some of them. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm going to say 80-90% of the kids are good, want to go, have ambition and want to go there. But that small percentage can feel very powerful.
Yeah. Now, astrology
so they
doesn't.
Come to me, and I try to help them get.
Yeah.
I said, okay, their life isn't over. Life is good. Let's figure out what you're going to do best in and how you're going to accomplish it. And we talk about that a lot. And they usually tell me afterwards they feel a lot better. They feel more directed, and they're going to go ahead with what they want to do. So that makes me feel good.
Yeah. Now, does astrology, while explaining how the astrology kind of plays into the roles of everything, so to speak, it doesn't. Does it only affect the individual, or is there a systemic value to this, to where it plays into social events and stuff?
I'm going to try to explain this really simply. Everybody has a sun, moon, rising sign, and they have all the planets in different signs. We'll talk more about that if you want. And so here's a good example. If you are if you're Gemini or a Virgo, you're ruled by the planet Mercury. So when Mercury goes retrograde up in the sky, you are most affected by it. For example, I'm a Libra. I have Virgo moon, Virgo rising. And when I see Mercury going retrograde, which is very popular astrology today, I just know my computer is going to act up and my printer is going to act up. I'm not going to get the emails I want. I'm going to lose something. And I'm not planning for it because these things happen all the time, but they happen a lot during that time.
Yeah.
And so if you are when is your birthday?
January 31st.
Okay, so you're an Aquarius. And so you're not going to be affected so much by this. I am. But when your ruling planet, which is Uranus, is in retrograde motion, it's in the chart that affects you, it'll affect you personally. And to duplicate your reading takes 25,000 years. That's how unique you are in astrology.
Wow.
You're not an Aquarius just with the moon sign suns. You have all these degrees. And so when doing a chart, everybody is individual. But pop astrology has traits, like Aquarians are humanitarian, very smart, very quick. And I'm a Libra, so I am indecisive and I cry a lot. No, I don't. And I also very sensitive. And so Aries are known to jump into everything and start everything. But then they have moon signs, rising signs, and planets that change a lot of that. So nothing is cast in stone. There is no one thing like example. Right now, Venus is retrograde in Leo. This happens once every 18 months. And everybody thinks that their significant other is going to break up with them. They're going to fight. Venus is going to act up. Not true. Okay. Yeah. Leos are going to be felt the most because it's in that sign. And it is a good time to be kind of mindful about your relationship and probably not start any fights, which if you often do, but probably nothing terrible is going to happen to anybody.
Yeah.
But it's gotten out there. Oh my God, Venus is in Leo. We're going to break up or we're going to have a bad fight. So it's self-prophesizing. You know that we are what we think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are what we think. Whatever we feel and think, it seems to absolutely materialize in front of us. And if we think that we're going to have a good day and everything's wonderful, what all the little things that are annoyance won't bother us. They'll probably still happen, but we'll have a better attitude about it.
Mm.
And astrology, when I do my live videos on TikTok, I'm going to say 95% of the questions are, I'm a Scorpio, how do I get along with a Gemini? Or what sign gets along with who? And that they say thank you. I didn't think we got along, but now I know we do. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and astrology will not tell you who you're going to fall in love with.
Yeah.
That is very personal, very whatever, but it can help in relationships. And I do a lot of compatibility readings with people too.
That's cool.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever had any clients or maybe a direction for those who take astrology maybe a bit too far and let astrology control their lives?
Yes, I have. I hope they're not listening, but I have 3 clients that call me whenever they have a major happening.
Yeah.
Okay. And I do not discuss health issues because I am not God. But I have one who's very sick and she's going to be having surgery and she was worried about a specific date. And I had another one taking a trip and wanted to know if she'd be safe. And you're going to love when I'm going to answer that. I had a 50% chance, I figured, if the plane went down, she wouldn't call and complain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And forgive my sense of humor. It does. Yes, I used to have a comedy act with astrology. So every once in a while, a little wicked thought. But they count on me. And I do spend a lot of time looking up where the planets are in conjunction with their chart and the degree of the signs. And I told one lady she was going to get an offer on a house that she and her husband owned. I did figure it out to the day. She got an offer on that day.
Wow.
Yeah, it could work. So, but I also am psychic and do have empathic feelings. Yes. And I knew we were going to have trouble with the radio today. No, I didn't know that.
This is, and for those who are going to be watching this is not the first time. I mean, we've the first time it was like, what?
Yes. And here we are so compatible. You being an Aquarius and me being a Libra, air signs, intellectual, smart, we just be best friends, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, is astrology absolute, or are there some areas of the science that kind of change a little bit and are not really absolute?
Okay, well, this is it. I believe that astrology always says you have free will. I told someone they were going to start a new business in the summer and they changed their mind. Okay, that you always have the free will to make a decision and to believe what you want. Does it work? It has to. It's been going on for thousands of years, and people would, if it didn't work, people would ignore it.
Yeah.
And there's enough people out there willing to pay a fair amount of money to have their chart read.
Yeah. And it helps to know that there's an open door somewhere, because if we don't know that there's a door opening somewhere on our path in life, astrology can help with that.
Yes, and it does. It does help a lot. I can tell you, 1,000 stories, and I think I've only had one really unhappy client in 30 years. And I think that she was trying to get a free reading, so I gave her money back. I figured I could tell that she was so difficult, and we couldn't talk.
Yeah.
And I was a little scared of her, and she came back at me. I said, listen, I don't need to have bad press out there. But I said, I'm hopeful I will not see my name spread around the internet because that won't sit well with me. She was so mean-balled. I mean, it kind of scared me. And so I gave her money back and wished her well. And that was it.
Yeah.
I had to tell you that because I tell it, what the heck? But I have people that feel just like I'm on the psychic line where they call, and I have people that have spent thousands of dollars to talk to me on the psychic line. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few of those.
The bottom line, people just need someone to talk to.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah. And there are a few in the bunch out there. I mean, it's a big pool of fish out there, people, and there's always going to be that bad seed out that really just gives you a really hard time, and it's all right.
And I kind of knew it. Her chart looked a little iffy to me, and I was uncomfortable with some of the stuff I saw, but I just tried to work with her, and I knew that from the beginning that she was going to be unhappy no matter what I said.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, so that, I mean, it's not that everybody leaves ecstatic, but people always feel like they get their money's worth, or that they get answers to what they wanted to know.
Yeah.
And that's my job. And there's a lot of astrologers out there. And if you had a chart done by every one of them, you have a different story, because we've all put our charts together with different methods. There's about 20 methods, and I've had people say, well, my moon sign's in Scorpio. I said, I have it in Libra. And I said, this is the way I do a reading, and it's worked for me. And they're fine with that. And there's a lot of amateur astrologers out there, and they'll go on to say, I know astrology real well, but I'd like to have a chart done by you. And I'm always scared of that a little bit, because they'll come up with stuff that I really don't feel is accurate or right. And so I don't want to get into a fight with them, So I've got one coming up, actually, and she says, I know a lot about astrology. I know everything this and everything that. I thought, oh, God. But I'd like to have a professional like you do my reading.
Mm-hmm.
So I may not be able to win on that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they want to prove me wrong. People like to prove you wrong.
Oh, yes.
Yes. You know all about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so how long, can I just ask you, how long have you been, tell me what you do just a little bit. I don't totally understand.
I had gotten my doctorate degree in metaphysics back in 2014. And
wow.
Originally studying the paranormal, but then getting into parapsychology, learning the psychology, getting into working with all different modalities of metaphysics, such as mediumship, psychic mediumship. Got ordained as a minister through the Spiritualist Church, and then practiced as a spiritualist medium. And astrology, interestingly enough, is not one of the modalities that I have studied intensively yet.
Good. Oh, good. I won't get any back talk from you. But I wanted to tell you about contacting my mother after she died with a medium.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was amazing.
Wow.
Like, things were getting moved around my house after she died, about 3 years after she died.
Yeah.
And so I had a gift basket business, and I was delivering a gift basket to the occult bookstore. And I asked the woman, I said, do you know anybody who channels with the dead? And she said, with the deceased. And she said, no. But then she called me back. She said, some woman came running in there to pick up a calendar, and she wants you to call her. It was just so, serendipitous.
Yeah.
So she came over to my office, didn't charge me. She wouldn't charge. And so she's talking to my mother. And I thought, oh, my God, she's talking to my mother. My mother says, she says, what the hell am I doing here? These goddamn doctors didn't know what they're doing. Oh, it was like my mother talking. It really, she couldn't have known. And she did tell, this is the best part. She said, tell Carol to go find a frame and put a rose in front of one of the pictures I have. I forgot about it. I'm buying things for my Christmas business. And I found a pretty frame, and I just put it in my basket. I went home, and the picture fit in there, and I had a gold rose. To this day, it sits on my desk. But the best thing was, my husband came home one day, and he lost his wallet and his motorcycle. And he said, went back to the store, it was gone. Months later, he ordered a new wallet, new credit cards and everything. And I was going into my purse, months later. I had dumped my purse out, and then I put it back, and I reached in, and there was his wallet. Yes, and that didn't just happen. It was sitting on top. I would never have missed it.
Wow.
Yeah. So I do believe that we can communicate with, and I feel like, and my mother said that, they said, why haven't you gone on, why are you still in, in between land. She says, because my damn relatives are up there and I hate them all. And I thought, it was funny. It was funny. But I so believe in all this. That's why it's not just astrology. It's a whole metaphysical world that hopefully is gaining a lot of momentum, because there's so many things that people feel are unexplained, and they really are explained.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What we see, what we can perceive, with the help of the human body, all the clairs, our touch, our feel, all our senses, those are flawless. Right. Those are so muted and are not fail proof. But what the bigger world out there, the bigger part of the universe is, we cannot perceive. And science is starting to understand that and starting to go, hey, guess what? We can talk.
I think there's just so, of course, the technology world today is growing to such a rapid speed with AI. And I think AI has a place, but I think it's a little scary. Mm-hmm. It can be very frightening. And we're going to see flying cars, and we're going to see a lot of strange things going really, really fast.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we're losing our personal world a little. People don't sit out on the porch together anymore and talk on the phone and talk over the fence. Everything is texted, so we have to keep that personal relationship with people to stay sane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But I love the whole metaphysical world. And I bet you have a doctorate is amazing to me. Yeah. And I get to watch your face. You can't see me here today. I can see you laughing. And if I say something stupid, if you're going to make a face, I'm going to know it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. I decided, I was like, since you can see me, but I can't see you, let's do that way. That way you can get the visual cues.
Yes. And I know it helps. And I love your hat too, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes. You look like a professor, with all your books behind you. And I do see books. Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's a lot. There's a lot more than that too.
Yes. I'll bet.
That's a fraction of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And no, I think you said you live in Florida.
Yeah.
And I mentioned we lived there for a few years in Bonita Springs area, Naples.
Okay. Yeah.
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 Yeah. No, I liked it there, but Libras are known to be indecisive, but when it comes to moving, I said, we're moving now. 4 times I said that. We're moving. And so we move because I say so. So I go to a restaurant and I absolutely go into a panic attack. What am I going to order? Yeah. And so when there are traits about signs, I got to tell you, they work. They really are. And you don't want to carry around too many things, but like we said, Aquarians, they are, I'm not going to say they're unemotional, but they know how to put their emotions in little boxes and work and let them go and deal with them well. And Pisces is everything's on their face, but the most emotional sign of all is Libra. And people don't know that. We are the most emotional sign. And Leos are always out there, and you'll find a lot of singers and actors are born under that sign. They're always, even if they're quiet Leos or they're noisy Leos, they're always seen and heard. Yes. And people ask me on my live, who's the worst sign on the zodiac? I said, that's all I need you to do is put that on here, and you'll all stop watching me. You're not going to find out. So don't ask anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is one sign that I absolutely have problems with, and it doesn't mean every one of them, but if I'm having problems with somebody, they are always that sign.
Wow.
So it's not Aquarius. Don't worry, because I would never, and each sign has good and bad traits. But the people are so hung up on their sun sign today because, okay, here's the thing. The sun changes signs every 30, 31 days. Everybody knows, goes from Aries to Taurus to whatever. The moon takes 2.5 days to go from Aries to Taurus to Gemini. Up to Pluto takes up to 25 years to go from one sign to another. So they're all moving at different rates of speed and have a different influence on your personality and also the trends for the year. So when someone says Pluto is acting up, and I'll say, well, they're acting up for probably quarter of the population, that were born in a period of 25 years.
Yeah.
So I use certain planets like Jupiter, which is good luck and expansion, stays in a sign for 1 year. and Saturn, which is limitations and holdbacks, up to 2.5 years. So those help me determine what your path is going to be for the next year or two. And that's as far as you want to go. Yeah. And, where, like, I don't know where your Mercury, Venus, and Mars are, or your moon and rising sign, unless you had your chart done before.
I might do that. I might reach out to you and have a chart done.
Yeah, we'll have that. Yeah, you have a chart done, right? Find out what is going on. Yeah. But, you're an Aquarius. Here's the thing about Aquarians, though. You can be as successful as you want to be. And that might sound like a really easy statement, but it's not. Is that you don't want to get caught up into one thing. You want to keep moving all the time, keep developing, keep changing, and keep making things happen. And I think that Aquarians are a naturally lucky sign in a lot of ways. It doesn't mean you don't have problems in life. We've all got them, right? But you're also front runners. And having your doctorate in metaphysics is so very Aquarius, okay? Because you are so far ahead in your thinking and your planning is an Aquarian. They're always hardly ever a dumb Aquarian. So you can know that you're going to be smart, right? So that's just alone from your sun sign. And I don't know. My guess is that you probably have a moon sign in another intellectual sign, either a Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius. And your rising sign, I'm going to say, is probably Earth sign. That's just from talking to you, but I may be wrong.
Yeah.
So afterwards, you'll have to give me your birth information because I'm curious to look you up and see.
Yeah. And that begs the next question too. For those who want to get a chart done with you, what specific information do you need to start that off?
Okay. All they have to do is go to my website and pick out if they want a written report, FaceTime report, or a video sent to them. And it asks for all the information, and everything's taken care of on the website. I don't have to do anything.
And that website,
I'm so glad.
And that website
is right. Yeah, Carol Starr, astrologer. And I don't know if the capital letters matter. Do they? They're all small. Okay. No. Yeah. And they'll find everything they want to know on there. And I'm going to be, I had a newsletter, and I'm going to discontinue that. And I'm going to go back to blogging, because I find that if I'm doing a live, I can tell everybody I'm going to talk about Leo's. Check on my website, and I'll talk about Leo's and the Mercury and Venus retrograde. I think that I feel, and I shouldn't say this, every email promoting is very popular today, but it's also very exhaustive. And it's really, you go on your emails, and we're sitting there getting rid of hundreds every single day.
Yep.
So if they have one place to go, instead of, and I will help them and answer. And also, I'm going to be teaching a class on Patreon. Are you familiar with Patreon?
Yeah.
And it's for artists and stuff. So it's subscription rate, but I've done 4 classes already, and I do add content to it. And it's listed on my website. They can find that there too. So, because I get asked a lot. People want to learn their charts, and I teach them so that I don't get so esoteric that they don't understand what I'm talking about. Because a lot of the astrologers, as I check their websites, start talking about stuff I don't even understand.
Yeah.
And if I can't understand it, and some people think that, wow, they must be super smart. I better find out. And some astrologers charge up to $500 for a reading.
Wow.
Yes, I know. People must be paying it.
Hey, must be.
I'd like to be able to do that. I wouldn't complain.
And
I don't.
And some of the important people have been paying a lot more than that throughout history. I mean, the kings and queens, the monarchy have used astrologers.
Do you know what king I can call?
Huh?
Yeah. Do you know what king I can call on the phone?
You might be able. I'm sure King Charles would.
Okay, I'm going to give him a call after we get off
there you go.
Okay, I'm sure that he would. It's every person's dream in their profession. We all do. We all dream about that perfect thing that is going to happen that's going to change our business. Everybody thinks that. We don't dwell on it, but I always think about that perfect client or perfect connection. And I'm a big fan of Abraham Hicks. Are you familiar?
Yeah.
I listen to a tape a day or a YouTube a day, because to get out of that wanting and a discomfort, and how to manifest really what you want in life. It's from The Secret, the law of attraction.
Yeah.
And I believe that, and I think that people that practice that, they may not be consciously doing it, but they just do it. And, to know what it is that you don't have to focus on that money you want or whatever, but it's wonderful to focus on all the fun and good things you can have in life with having more money. So that's the main premise of her thinking. Yeah. So that is part of the whole spiritual, we're all part of the spiritual community, which, by the way, has become a huge word lately. The last 5 years, spiritual is the word.
Yep.
So everybody's getting a little more popular, and the astrologers and the metaphysics and everything, because people are starting to really believe that these things that we do has changed our life and can. There are people, I'm sure you've met them, that everything bad happens to them all the time.
Oh,
it's always something.
All the time. Yep. And it's like,
Yeah.
And those are the people I want to stay away from, because you don't know if it's contagious or not. It's like, stay away from me.
Yes, I agree. And I think we have to face up to if something isn't working.
Yeah.
Okay, this hasn't been working in my life. I'm going to let go of it and see what can I do to reach my goals a little easier. Yeah. And people today, I think there's a lot of, as you know from TikTok, is that it's instant gratification. Okay. That's what they get, a lot of dopamine.
Yep.
Working on their iPads and playing games, because that's a world all by itself. So people want that instant serotonin or dopamine into their brains all the time.
Yeah.
And that's why videos that we have sometimes just get watched for 3 seconds, because they're impatient to move on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Really quick. Our attention span is only 8 seconds. That's like max, at least. So.
Yeah, I know, isn't that? And you know what? I'm just as guilty. And I'm concerned, I go onto a website, and if it doesn't click on right away, I'm gone.
Yeah.
I figure something's wrong with it.
Yep.
Yeah. So we have to deal with this whole generation of wanting, the Generation Z, I think it is. And I think it goes from 12 to 26.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then there's the millennials, I think, or the Generation X. I'm not Generation X. And then the millennials are getting older now.
Uh-huh.
And it follows you. I mean, if you're a millennial, I think you stay a millennial, or do you move into the baby boomers, or do you get to take that with you?
I don't know. I'm right after the baby boomers. So I don't even know what my generation is. I'm the generation just before the millennial.
Just before
just before the millennial generation.
Just before the millennial. Well, the millennials are, oh gosh, it's changed. The Z is the youngest one, and I know there's Generation X, and then there's the millennials, I think. And then there's the baby boomers. I think they're right. I think those are next to each other, or it could be they're. I'm going to check it after I get off I want to, because people ask me about that a lot. Yeah. So we got to know.
Yeah.
It's really important.
That was, I was born in 77. So 77.
So that
you
are not. I think you're Generation X.
Yeah. That's what I think it is.
Okay. I think you're Generation X. Yeah. Because that's what I think. Yeah. And the baby boomers now are, like I said, I don't know. I think we grow with it used to be like it was in the 50s and 60s. So I think probably you just take it with you.
Mm-hmm.
It does, I don't know. We won't have to argue about this one.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, as far as the newspapers, you've had a syndicated column.
Yes, I did. I had 2. Actually, I had one. Well, it was remember the days when you probably don't, when you used to write letters and make phone calls.
Yeah.
Why is it brilliant? I was brilliant at that. And luckily, I shouldn't say that, but the astrologer died, and they wanted to also have a psychic column. And So it was with a small syndication called Suburban Features. It's not around anymore. So I was in all the small newspapers, like the Penny Savers, the neighborhood, probably 300 or 400 newspapers.
Wow.
And then I wrote for the Arizona Republic, and I did a lot. And I had my 15 minutes of fame. And, thank you, Andy Warhol, who's set that off for all of us.
Yeah.
I'm looking right now. I'm writing I got 4 forecasts to do. One is for a magazine called Jackpot, and another one I have is for an online one, and then I've got 2 neighborhood magazines that I'm writing for. So I'm really trying to expand doing my forecasts. Yeah, because I love to write forecasts here. I make them, they're not like what you read. I make them much more personal, and I think that so that's one of my goals. I just wanted to share that with you.
Yeah.
And also, businesses often hire astrologers to analyze new employees to see if they're going to get along with people, what their work ethic is like, how they're going to join in the group, and how they're going to work.
Oh, wow.
So I've done some of that too, which I'd love to do more.
Oh.
So those are my goals.
That is cool. Yeah, I didn't know companies did that, or corporations.
Yeah, they do. They give them a lot of testing.
Yeah.
And I don't know how popular it is today, but it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Do a chart on someone, you can find out everything. I mean, if I did a chart on you, I would know you. Even if I didn't know anything about you at all, I probably could figure out a lot of your life and what's going on and what you've done.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know exactly what jobs you had. I wouldn't know exactly who you had a relationship with, but I would understand you in the general and in the personal way too.
And then you can better gauge the, gauge the job around that onboarding process for the new employee, because you might hire him originally for one thing, but you're finding out, okay, he or she could actually be better at this, and then kind of
exactly like someone's good in math, you can see that they're good in technical. There's a lot of, if you're moon Virgo, which I am, very good at details, and I over detail, and then I lose it. It didn't work with me. Okay, but I am. Like all Virgo moon people, and not everyone, we're very health conscious. Okay, everything about good health to me: eating well, exercising, and keeping myself centered and grounded, and all that. I don't let everything run away from me.
Yeah.
Being fat is not an option, right? No. Yeah. Yeah, I shouldn't say that. Right? The Virgos are generally very thin, actually.
Yeah.
And I let's just say I'm hiring you, and I need somebody who is going to be really good with details and likes to work alone. And I think, no, you're too social for that. I'm finding you're too social, and you really like the big picture better than details. You would be good for the job. And so, because I think that you are social, and I think that, but there's a little part of you that's introverted.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I know. I can feel that because of the way you talk and the way you look, and what I see how you handled this situation when we talked about it a few days ago. You didn't get to hear me, but I watched you.
Yeah.
With the back and forth, the interaction, and I got to know a lot about you by just watching you. And you're blocked from my phone and my life from now on. No, I'm kidding. Well, don't you love it? I love when somebody wants a chart done and say that, oh, he blocked me.
Yeah.
And I said, that's kindergarten. I said, what he's telling you is that he really cares about you, and he's going to cut you off and let you know that. It doesn't mean he doesn't care about you.
Yeah.
Because blocking is like, so you can't come over my house anymore, like little kids. Only this is adult rejection, right?
Yeah.
Is they block. Go figure. Okay. Yes. Anyway, so I got on TikTok. That was my lucky break. I wasn't doing well on there, and I came up with an idea for a video, and I got 4 million views. And I got 200 readings from that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but actually the algorithms do catch up with you on there. They don't let you keep having a wonderful time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You have your moments here and there, little spurts and stuff like that. I found that out through YouTube and other places. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah,
There's
well,
nothing that's consistent. There's no consistency.
yeah, yeah. It's a roller coaster. And nothing's
It is.
stagnant. It goes in all different directions. So
Absolutely. And I think that people um, that are not savvy in the digital world, getting help is worth the money,
hmm
because struggling on your own is so frustrating. But
yeah,
you've got to get that right person. Yes. And I'm looking again. But and somebody I like is who's a Virgo, and that is a perfect person to hire to do your work, to help you out, is a Virgo.
wow.
So we'll see how that goes.
Huh.
Probably not a Gemini or an Aquarius, because they are going to be too impatient, want this and want that, and too intellectual about the whole thing.
Yeah.
You need somebody who's real basic about it. Say, this is going to work. We're going to try this or do that. And Aquarians feel there's a higher level of knowledge in a different way. I'm a Libra too, is that we are, I don't want to say we're intellectually superior, but we're cardinal signs. And those three signs are cardinal, which means that, I dropped the pillow, that beside being air signs, I'm going to say Capricorn, not Aquarius, Capricorn and Libra across the way. We are the ones who actually start everything. And then you are Aquarius, so you're a fixed sign. And you're much more about, you want it to start a certain way, you want to stay with it, it works, let's keep it going. And then we have the mutable signs, and those are the ones that change all the time. They're not sticking with anything, and they go crazy and do all kinds of weird stuff. Of course, we can do weird stuff too. We're not immune from it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's the way we look at perceive the problem. I am a starter. I'm always coming up with a new idea. I'm always ready to go try it. Let's do it. And a good deal of the time do not work, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
I've
trial
had
and
some
error.
huge successes, and I've had tons and tons of failures and disappointments, because that's life.
Yeah, yeah. We got to accept it. We got to accept that you're going to have some failures, and if you don't fail, you're not going to succeed.
No, because you're going to sit back. Sometimes when someone's chart is too easy and everything's falling in their lap, they just sit back and don't do anything.
Yeah.
And there are things in charts that show that you're a hard worker, you're really going to try, or you're just going to think everything's going to work out for you because it has. But it doesn't always continue like that.
Yeah.
And that's what's good for having a chart wave too. And, I've got one lady on the line here. I'm going to be doing her reading, and she says that her relationship is bad, her work is awful, she's depressed, and she's stressed and depressed all the time. I thought maybe she'll cancel. No, no. So I have to, and this is one where I leave a video, so I don't get any back. There's no talking back.
Yeah.
So I have to figure out from her chart how to get her in a better frame of mind and tell her to look forward to some things. And there will be good stuff on there.
Yeah.
She just got herself in that position.
Huh. Wow. I had to look out the window here in the studio because it's like we got a big thunderstorm cell. I started hearing it before the show, and now it's getting closer and it's getting darker. So I may have to wrap it up, since actually, and coincidentally, and there's no such thing as coincidence, synchronistically, we have
very good.
We have gotten to the end of our program. So so if anybody wants to reach out to you to get a chart or a reading and stuff like that, they can
just go to my website.
Go to website carolstarrastrologer.com.
Yes.
And you've also got some of the links to your TikTok.
Afterwards, you send me your birth information so I can find out all about you now that I've met you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And any quick words of wisdom and a takeaway?
Yeah. You know what? Trust your intuition for all the signs in the zodiac. Follow where your heart goes. Trust your intuition, and always know that you're in the right place at the right time.
Yep. And get an astrology reading.
Oh, God, forgot. I forgot that I did that, right?
Yep. So we will have all your information in the description of the video description below after broadcast. And other than that, I do appreciate it. I am humbled to have you with us today. Thank you, Carol.
And thank you
were very
for having
welcome.
me. I know it's been a little challenging, but we
Yeah.
made it. Hey, Paul? We made it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
Contingencies.
And anytime you want to invite me back, I'm always delighted.
Awesome. Awesome.
Okay.
I do appreciate it. Will do.
Okay.
Cool.
So I guess we're going to say good. Is you too. Hey, you too. And stay away from that storm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Lightning's
coming.
coming.
Well, say goodbye. Okay. Ooh, okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you, my friend. You take care.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, everybody, for watching Conscious Radio Network's The Seance. And until next week, we will see you then.